Welcome to A Direction Forward, Season 5, Episode 1, Happy 2026. So I want to start it off with, I came across this, so just going to go over it. 10 things men never forget about a woman, even after they've moved on. So I guess you could ask any guy about a past relationship, and he might claim he is over it. But memory often tells a different story. Certain details about a woman, from the way she laughed to how she argued, stick with him long after the breakup. These are not random fragments. They are wired into emotion, biology, and unfinished feelings that keep specific moments replaying in his head. The first one is her captivating smile. And I do have a great smile. I want to say that. Her captivating smile is usually the first thing that burns into his memory. A 2018 study found that men report higher emotional intensity and longer lasting recall of a woman's smile during initial encounters compared to other facial expressions. That means the way she grinned across a crowded bar or during a clumsy first hello is not just cute, it's neurologically sticky. So even when life moves on, that specific expression can resurface at odd times. Like when he sees someone with a similar dimple, or here's an old joke. Some research on gender differences in emotional intensity notes that women often report more frequent memories of stressful events, but this particular finding flips the script for positive moments. For men, her smile can become a private emotional shortcut back to who he was with her and what he felt in that instant. Number 2, the first date chat. The first date chat is another detail that refuses to fade. A 2020 survey reported that 45% of men cited the first date conversation as the most vivid memory from past relationships, often recalling specific topics discussed. He might remember that she loved 2012 Subaru Outbacks, hated small talk, or confessed she once deleted Instagram for a year to reset her brain. Those oddly specific details become mental bookmarks. Psychologists note that early conversations help define the story a person tells about a relationship, and this is so true. So the first date becomes chapter 1 in his internal narrative. When a man cannot forget a woman, the memory often represents a version of himself, an unmet emotional stage, or a feeling that was never fully processed, as described in an analysis of psychology reasons why a man cannot forget a woman. The first talk is where that unfinished story usually starts. Very interesting. Number 3, the warmth of her touch. The warmth of her touch lingers in a way that surprises a lot of men. Research from the University of Texas in Austin in 2016 showed that physical touch, such as hand-holding, activates men oxytocin levels more persistently than in women, creating unforgettable sensory associations with ex-partners. That simple moment of fingers interlaced while crossing a street or sitting in a movie theater or watching TV can become a powerful emotional trigger. Because oxytocin is tied to bonding and trust, those early touches quietly teaches his brain, this person is safe. And I just never felt safe with him, but maybe, my touch felt safe with him. Years later, he might not recall what TV show they watched, but he remembers how her hand felt against his. When new partners reach for him, his body sometimes compares that sensation to the old imprint, which can complicate healing if he never fully processed the breakup. Number 4, that heartfelt argument. That heartfelt argument, the one where voices cracked more than they raised, often becomes a defining memory. A 2019 report noted that arguments involving emotional vulnerability are remembered by 62% of men as turning points, with direct quotes like, "She said I was her safe space," etched in memory. It's not the shouting that sticks, it's the moment she cried, admitted fear, or asked him not to leave. These scenes matter because they expose the real stake of the relationship. When a man looks back, he may replay the exact words he said or failed to say, wondering if a different response would have changed everything. That mix of regret and tenderness keeps the argument alive in his mind, not as drama, but as the clearest snapshot of how deeply they were connected. Her infectious laugh is number 5. Her infectious laugh is another thing he never quite shake, and I do have a cute laugh, I think. A 2021 study of 5,000 users, an internal research team at a major dating platform, found that her laugh was ranked number 1 by 38% of men as an indelible trait, described as a sound that still echoes in quiet moments. It might have been a loud cackle, a soft snort, or the way she doubled over at a meme on TikTok, but it becomes a soundtrack to that era of his life. Sound is a powerful memory cue, and laughter is tied directly to joy and relief. When he hears a similar laugh in a cafe or on a podcast, it can instantly pull him back to late night drives, inside jokes, or the first time she met his friends. That echo reminds him not just of her, but of the version of himself who felt lighter and more playful around her. Number 6, her unique scent. Her unique scent might be the most haunting detail of all. Interesting. A 2017 study in the journal Evolutionary Psychology reported that men's sense memory for a woman's natural scent can persist up to 7 years post-breakup. Wow. Linked to pheromone detection in the brain's limbic system. This is not just her perfume, it's the mix of skin, shampoo, and laundry detergent that the brain quietly filed away. Because smell is wired directly into emotional and memory centers, catching a similar scent in a grocery aisle or on a subway platform can feel like a time warp. He may suddenly remember her hoodie on his chair or how she smelled after a run. Those involuntary flashbacks show how deeply the relationship is stored in his nervous system, even when he thinks he's moved on. Number 7, the intimate connection. The intimate connection is in all its physical and emotional layers is almost impossible for him to erase. Biological anthropologist Dr. Helen Fisher has explained that romantic love memories, including intimate moments, light up the same brain regions as addiction, making men unable to forget the physical connection they shared. That means his brain treats those nights together less than casual fun and more like a powerful habit loop. Very interesting. I never even thought about that. When that bond ends, the neural pathways do not vanish overnight. Certain songs, a familiar bedroom layout, or even the feel of similar sheets, which I just changed my sheets for the winter ones. I've got these plush sheets that I just love, can trigger a rush of remembered closeness. For some men, this is where nostalgia and longest hit hardest because the body remembers being chosen and wanted in a way that everyday life rarely replicates. Very, very interesting. Number 8, her thoughtful kindness. Her thoughtful kindness often shows up in oddly specific memories. A 2022 analysis by a major research organization found that acts of kindness, such as cooking a favorite meal, are recalled verbatim by 51% of men as turning points in the relationship. That level of detail, right down to the date and place, show how strongly those gestures land. And that's interesting because I did a lot of kindness to this last one. Very interesting. In a separate look at how couples share responsibilities, an examination of the American Time Use Survey by the Pew Research Center highlighted how daily acts like cooking or planning shape relationship satisfaction in 29% of American marriages where both partners earn similar incomes. For men, remembering that one carefully planned dinner or surprise coffee drop-off is often shorthand for realizing how deep she cared and how rare that level of effort can feel later. I wonder if he's getting that with his next one. The sound of her voice. The sound of her voice, especially during vulnerable conversations, tend to linger in a way that feels almost ghostly. Research from the University of London in 2013 indicated that a woman's voice timbre during emotionally open talks creates auditory imprints in men's auditory cortex, with 70% reporting it haunts dreams years later. It's not just what she said, it's how her voice softened, cracked, or went quiet. Very, very this is very interesting. Those vocal patterns become tied to key emotional moments like late night confessions or whispered apologies. When he hears a similar tone in a podcast host or a stranger on the phone, it can stir up feelings he thought were buried. The stakes here are high because that remembered voice often carried both comfort and loss. And he did lose something. He lost me, reminding him of connection he cannot fully recreate, and that's an amen. Number 10, the intensity of her gaze. The intensity of her gaze is usually the final detail that refuses to fade. A 2009 study by the Max Planck Institute for Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences stated that eye contact during deep conversations forms unbreakable neural pathways in men, with participants recalling exact gaze moments from 2005 relationships in Berlin. That memory of her looking straight at him while he admitted a fear or shared a secret becomes a mental snapshot. He never admitted any fears or secrets. Eye contact is a fast track to emotional exposure. So those locked-in moments often mark the peak of intimacy. Even years later, he may remember the color of the room, the angle of the light, and the way her eyes did not flinch. Some analysis of long-term emotional memory suggests that such intense expressions can outlast more stressful ones, reinforcing why, for many men, that gaze is the part of a woman they truly never forget. So very, very interesting. 10 ways that a man keeps his connection with a woman, and I never even thought about it. So kind of an interesting way to start 2026 out. Should you have any questions or you'd like something for me to talk about, feel free to shoot me an email. It's at adirectionforward@yahoo.com. And I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and have a great day.